New information today about a police chase that ended with a crash in downtown St. Louis. The driver of the car has been identified as Shantez Campbell of Centerville, Illinois. He died yesterday from injuries he suffered in that crash. The chase started in Washington Park early Thursday morning. Now, according to Sauget Police, officers believe Campbell was under the influence at the time and driving a car stolen from Belleville. Something else we're continuing to follow: eastbound lanes of Manchester Road remain closed at Barrett Station Road hours after a traffic crash. We've been all over that today. Westbound lanes just opened back up. The 3-vehicle crash knocked down several power lines this morning. The Highway Patrol says no one was injured in the crash. The cause is under investigation.
We can tell you that the doors of a downtown charter school are now closed after state officials declared its campus unsafe for students. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings is looking at the impact that it's got on families. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Michelle. Quite the impact here. The state says this was about student safety, point blank, period. St. Louis Voices Academy was ordered to stop in-person learning right away after a surprise security audit found what the commission called, quote, serious risks. St. Louis Voices Academy of Media Arts, located on Olive Street downtown, we're going to put up that map for you, had just been put on probation and was given a deadline to turn in a safety plan. But a day later, the Missouri Charter Commission said that plan didn't go far enough. Documents show multiple security failures. I've been looking at those this morning. That includes broken door alarms, camera blind spots, and that incident where an 8-year-old slipped out of the building unsupervised. We spoke with Coalition with STL Kids, that's an education advocacy group, which says schools have a responsibility to protect students and put their safety first.
There has to be accountability, and sometimes that accountability is not easy, it's not convenient, but sometimes this is what accountability looks like.
Now this morning, the commission says it will work directly with families who want to move their children to another school if they choose to do so, and it will give the academy time to fix these issues before deciding whether to close it for good. Now, when we reached out to school leaders, they said they plan to comment on the situation later, so we'll keep you posted. Well, the Education Department says students pursuing graduate degrees in nursing will face tighter student loan limits. The agency no longer considers it a professional program. Today, practicing nurses are questioning the move meant to reduce the cost of education. 3 nurse practitioners in Missouri tell Alyssa Jackson those decisions come with their own cost.
Necessarily increase.
3 nurse practitioners in Harrisonville.
It's a passion. It is a part of who you are.
Have a combined 22 years of schooling for their degrees.
You're looking at $30,000 to $40,000 to get your bachelor's. Then you're looking at another, $35,000 to get a master's, and then you get a doctorate. You add on even more.
Nursing has never been included on a decades-old federal list defining professional degrees. The list, not all-inclusive, mentions professions like pharmacy, dentistry, veterinary medicine. The Department of Education is now using that list to cap the amount that students can borrow under the Big Beautiful Bill passed earlier this year. Students getting advanced degrees like this group did with master's and a PhD in nursing can't borrow more than $100,000 in federal student loans. Same for professions like physical therapy, a physician's assistant, and audiology programs. That's $100,000 less than those seeking professional degrees. Most nursing students won't be affected by the new caps, according to the Department of Education, and current students impacted will be grandfathered in.
It is going to limit the pool of people that can afford to become providers and even nurse educators.
Some of the practicing nurses I spoke with say their degrees cost more than the $100,000 limit.
Had I already maxed out my ability through my first 2 degrees, I would not have gone back again and been able to serve, the community.
According to the Department of Education, the Trump administration is trying to drive down the cost of programs with these changes, saying in part, we expect that institutions charging tuition rates well above market prices will consider lowering tuition thanks to these historic reforms. Still, they think of the future of nursing.
Really just hurts healthcare altogether.
All right, so we know while the plan is still being worked out at this time, the new student loan caps would take effect next July if they're finalized.
Right now, hundreds of people across Missouri are gathering signatures to put new congressional maps for the state in front of voters. And if you're a registered voter, you may have received a text from the Republican National Committee today regarding those signatures. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski joins us to break down the text and whether they're a scam or not. Laura?
Well, Kelly, it turns out these texts are in fact from a legitimate source. They are from the Republican National Committee, but those who are gathering signatures say the content is misleading and being sent out as a scare tactic.
The redrawn congressional map for the state of Missouri passed in September, and since then, the group People Not Politicians has been working through the petition process to put it up to a vote of the people. During this process, the Republican National Committee sent out 3 different texts. This is the latest one, saying out-of-state interests are setting up in high-traffic areas on Black Friday, trying to trick people into signing petitions. Richard Von Glahn of People Not Politicians says they're not tricking anyone.
And every Missourian, when asked to sign it, has a free choice as to whether or not they want to sign the petition or not. And what we find is, again, Missourians usually are actually coming up to us when they know where they are, when they know where we are, and asking us to sign the petition.
When signing this petition, the only information you have to give is your name, zip code, and the address where you're registered to vote, which is all part of the public record.
We don't keep the forms. They actually just go into the Secretary of State's office. And so any information that is on there is just about verifying that you're a registered voter.
The text goes on to say these groups are under investigation by the Attorney General for improper conduct. The same day this text went out, Missouri AG Catherine Hanaway sent this press release saying the office is investigating a signature gathering group, AMT, quote, an out-of-state group using illegal immigrants in an effort to influence Missouri's constitutional authority raises serious concerns. My office will not allow dark money groups to violate Missouri laws and hijack the will of voters.
AMT, the company that she's accusing of this, uses E-Verify on all of their employees. And so we're not worried about it, but it's just fear-mongering.
One candidate who would be affected by the new maps if they're put in place is Fred Wellman.
So it does add a lot of our rural areas, adds a lot more folks. As far as the red to blue, look, I've been saying it all along. I'm running no matter what.
He's running against Ann Wagner in Missouri's 2nd District and is frustrated by this.
It's such a deceptive tactic. It's such a dark money way to do it, which is these lies being put out, the way they play against each other. Say, oh, well, these are out-of-state groups. Look, the fact is the people fighting these maps are local folks who are frustrated and angry that this power grab is being put on them.
I reached out to the Republican National Committee and the Missouri Republican Party about the texts and did not hear back.
A Brentwood man went missing after being swept into the River des Peres last November. For 2 days, no one knew if he was alive or dead until a stranger walking his dog spotted him on the riverbank, likely with just minutes to live. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Tonight, in an interview you will only see on 5 on Your Side, Rob Hanselman is sharing his story of survival for the first time. Megan Kernan was there as he returned to the very place he nearly died and came face to face with the man who saved him. She joins us with this powerful reunion.
Kelly and Mike, Rob Hanselman told me paramedics said he had minutes left to live when he was finally found. He spent 6 weeks in the ICU, months in rehab, and tonight, 1 year later, he returned to the riverbank for a moment he's been waiting for ever since. A moment you're about to see.
The paramedics said 30 more minutes I'd have been dead.
More than a year ago, during the deadly flash flooding of November 2024, 53-year-old Rob Hanselman went for a walk near his home in Brentwood and never came back. He was reported missing after fast-moving floodwaters pulled him into the River des Peres. For 2 days, no one knew where he was or if he was alive.
I don't remember water being high. I don't remember the water rushing up. I don't remember falling in the river.
Rob remembers only fragments, walking through thick brush and pushing through thick weeds.
I remember walking on the rocks, and then the next thing you know, I guess the water rose so fast and just swept me away, and I don't remember anything after that because they had to bring in emergency vehicles to cut me out of there.
Rob had been swept nearly 4 miles downstream and was found on the riverbank tangled in brush, barely alive. Severe hypothermia, frostbite, water in his lungs.
My body temperature was 70 degrees.
He woke up on a ventilator, confused, with no memory of what happened.
I don't remember hardly anything except for, thank God you're alive.
And for the past year, Rob has wanted one thing: to meet the stranger who found him. Austin Perkins, the man walking his dogs that morning, who chose to stop and call for help.
For him to find me right at that time, saved my life. And I'd like to meet him, and thank him.
Rob, someone was here to say hi.
Hey!
I'm Austin.
Austin.
Nice to meet you.
Are you the one that saw me?
I am.
Wow. That's incredible. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you. Sorry, I'm emotional.
I'm so glad to see you here.
Oh, my heart is full.
I was just at the right time to find him.
Rob spent 6 months in the ICU and months in rehab.
I don't know how I survived it, but I'm thankful that I did, and it gives you a new lease on life.
Rob lost his short-term memory because of the accident, but says he finally feels like himself again and credits Austin and first responders for giving him that chance. The two exchange numbers and say this won't be their last conversation.
Great story. Thanks, Megan.
It really is.
With Thanksgiving just days away, St. Louisans showed up today waiting hours for a free turkey giveaway.
Yeah, the Urban League hosts this event every year, and the CEO tells us this year's need is enormous. Justina Coronel was there today and takes us to their headquarters off of Kings Highway.
Today is our annual Thanksgiving food distribution.
It's a line that twists and turns for some turkey.
It just shows that if people really would sit somewhere for 6 or 7 hours, that the need is enormous.
At the Urban League in North St. Louis, it's a drive-through distribution event unlike any other.
So when you look at the tornado, you look at the SNAP uncertainties, and you look at just economic difficulties, we will serve more than we did last year.
250 volunteers packed cars with turkey, toiletries, and sides for about 3,000 people. At the Urban League, the turkey giveaway started at 12, but we spoke to people who arrived hours earlier. One woman got here at midnight, and I asked her if it was worth it. She said it absolutely was.
Because I know the line's going to be long, and I didn't want to.
Yeah, we need food and everything, so I didn't want to stand in that line. So I just try to be the first one here.
Robin Cole needed to make sure she had food on the table after an already uncertain time.
Yes, I was living in the area before the tornado hit, so I lost everything.
Urban League CEO pointed out Cole isn't the only one.
We still have people in hotels that were actually helping from the tornado that still haven't been able to get their homes rebuilt.
Good job! Good job! That's why this meal matters.
It mattered more because I believe because of the tornado, it's a lot of people in the city still need a lot of help. So this is the most important day of 2025.
Cole will remember the kindness. That's why next year she'll be on the other side.
When I get myself together, I'm going to be a volunteer as well.
Justina Coronel, 5 on your side.
Week of Thanksgiving, which kicks off the unofficial start of the busiest travel season of the year nationwide. This year, AAA expects nearly 2 million more travelers to hit the road or take to the skies than in 2024. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki is live at Lambert with the latest on the travel impacts ahead of the holiday. Holden.
Well, Mike, I've been keeping an eye on the arrival and departure boards here at Lambert Airport. And while there have been a couple of delays and an occasional backup here at security, a number of travelers have told me today that it is so kind of sparse in here in terms of seeing people, they can't actually believe that it's just 2 days before Thanksgiving.
When Callie Hall left home for Thanksgiving, she wasn't sure what to expect at the airport.
With the shutdown, I was here one day and the line was out the door.
But when she got to Lambert, Hall admits she was shocked.
There's really nobody here. I thought the lines would be out the door.
According to Lambert spokesman Roger Lotz, more than 19,000 travelers will come through the doors Tuesday and Wednesday, which is a reduction of about 500 people per day compared to last year.
There have been a few moments where we've been checking the trackers and noticing it's like an hour or 2 hour wait, but when we got there, it was pretty smooth.
I thought people weren't going to be, working up to the same speed or at the same efficiency as they usually are. from like the government shutdown and everything. So I'm happy that everything was still, just the way I left it.
Nationwide, AAA says an estimated 81 million people are expected to travel during the Thanksgiving holiday, 90% of which will choose to drive to their destination.
I'm typically a driver. I really don't fly, so I could see people wanting to just take that drive just to have a bit more security and, get in from point A to point B.
However, beginning Thursday, Lambert officials expect thousands more travelers to come through their doors than they saw in 2024. So I asked travelers for their best advice to get ahead of the line.
Get to the airport 2 hours early.
Don't pack any heavy bags so you're not slowing anything down when you're trying to check in.
Have all your necessary documents, have everything together, make sure you have all your liquids in the right size so you don't have any complications, and you should have a good travel day.
If you are traveling this Thanksgiving holiday and are concerned about your flight being delayed or even canceled, officials here at Lambert tell me the best thing you can do is go ahead and get your phone out and download the app for the airline that you're flying out of and sign up for text alerts. So that way you will get notifications of any changes to your flight sent directly to your phone. Reporting live at Lambert International Airport, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
This afternoon, AAA forecasts a record-setting stretch between now and Monday, so you want to be mindful of that. 5 on your side, Holden Kerwicki is live at Wally's, the home of the Great American Road Trip for you. He's been talking to travelers. Holden, what are they saying?
Yeah, Travis, I was out at Lambert yesterday, and the question I kept getting from everyone was, where is everybody? Well, I think I found them today. They're down here in Fenton at Wally's, where when I pulled up about an hour ago, each one of these gas pumps behind me was completely full. I've been coming down here for years. That's something I can say I have never seen before. The manager here at Wally's, though, told me that they weren't doing anything special for the holiday rush, but AAA is forecasting a record-setting holiday stretch between now and Monday. An estimated 82 million Americans will venture at least 50 miles from home, surpassing last year's record by nearly 2 million people. They're predicting almost 90% of those people are going to drive, and about 6 million people will fly. The FAA expects today to have the most flights for the holiday period, but I spoke with one traveler who said he'd rather be behind the wheel.
I've always been the type of guy, maybe it's my Midwest mentality, that if it's under 10 hours, then I'm going to drive. Just less headache, you don't have to get to the airport. That's just always what I've done.
We are expecting some winter weather tomorrow night in through the weekend. Is that any concern about trying to get back home with that?
Nope, I grew up in Illinois, so moved to Tulsa a couple years ago, so I'm used to driving in the snow and all that stuff. So.
Gas Buddy sees things a little bit differently than AAA does. They're questioning whether the economic conditions may keep people closer to home this holiday season. Looking around, the price of mid-grade, premium, and diesel fuel are all about 20 cents higher than this point last year. Reporting live in South County, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
What started as a couple of 100 pecan saplings has grown into a grove bursting with potential.
The farmers who once celebrated just a small bucket of nuts are now measuring their success by the truckload. 5 on your side, Scott Connell takes us to the McGraw Hilltop Pecan Farm in St. Charles County.
One word, fresh.
That's how Vicki McGraw describes the pecans grown in this small St. Charles County orchard.
They are harvested here, and you can see by the looks of these pecans, they are bright, they are golden, they're not dried, they're not brown, they're delicious to eat.
These pecan trees were planted after some careful thought.
I wasn't really aware that you could grow pecans in Missouri, and so I did some more research and found out that yes, you can. They are native to Missouri. I wouldn't have to tend it every day and just leave the trees out there, and it would be pretty and maybe fun.
For more than 30 years, Vicki and Kevin McGraw have nurtured these trees.
It was around 8 years when we got our first nut. First year we got 4.
And that was it?
That was it.
And how many trees did you have planted at that point?
We had about 200 planted, yes.
And you got 4 nuts?
Got 4 nuts.
November is harvest. Now they gather about 10 to 15,000 pounds of pecans.
We wait until the husks open.
That means the nuts are ripe, and it's time to shake them off the trees.
I drive in concentric circles around each tree that I shook. It picks up the nuts. and then I dump them into the cleaner.
Sorting the nuts is a family event.
My wife and my brother and my sister-in-law and my niece all help, and they work for Nuts also, which is a good thing. They pick out the bad nuts, and the good nuts go into the bin.
The McGraws take the bins, weighing about 1,000 pounds each, to a processing facility near Moberly, Missouri.
He cracks them and shells them, immediately freezes them, and then we get them frozen. They are kept frozen.
Freezing keeps the pecans flavorful for prominent local chefs.
BC's Kitchen, Nathaniel Reed Bakery, Sucrose Bakery, Bijou Chocolates, a lot of different places.
One of Vicky's favorite recipes, salted roasted pecans.
You just take them out of the shell, put a little unsalted butter on them, and then I add a little bit of salt. Roast them at about 300 degrees for like 8 minutes, and then stir them, and then do it again. Watch them because they will burn. They have a lot of oil in them.
McGraw Hill Pecan Farm, an unexpected source of local pecans in St. Charles County.
They were little bitty trees, and they've grown into this.
I'm Scott Connell, 5 on your side.
And if you'd like to purchase the nuts from the farm, stop by St. Peter's Cosmetic and Family Dentistry or Manano's Market in Cottleville.
I have eaten their pecans. They are delicious.